and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurana Mardia binti Abdul Azri Ma'ash. I want to talk about the basic chromatography. We choose drug testing in urine tests for chromatography. In this slide, I will talk about the introduction of chromatography. Chromatography can be described as a method of separating or break down the mixture of components in order to identify both of them statistically and qualitatively. In order to initiate the process, the mixture of components is dissolved in a second substance called stationary phase. This allows it to pass through the first substance. Chromatography also used to purify the mixtures. Next, we found that there are many types of chromatography, but we only chose two types of chromatography to explain the difference about chromatography. The first chromatography is gas chromatography, mass spectrometry. The function is to spot the different substance in a test sample. It is very accurate to spot the existence at a specific substance. This method uses two devices, which is gas chromatograph and mass spectrometer. For chromatograph, it is used to split or break down the chemical mixtures into their component parts or called aliquots. Once the mixtures separated, the mass spectrometer works to identify and quantify the compounds in each aliquot to ascertain its element value. For example, this chromatography used in urine sample to identify the presence of certain substance for drug screen tests. You can look below of this slide. It is the example of how the process of gas chromatography works and looks like. Now we're going to the second chromatography, which is high performance liquid chromatography, or called HPLC. HPLC is a powerful analytical method that can split or break down and measure each component of mixture. It works by injecting the sample into liquid stream through a column that filled with small stationary beads. Different components in the sample have contact with the beads in different ways. It will cause them to split as they flow through column. The split components detected by a sensor and their amount are calculated. To determine existence of drugs, we must examine the blood, urine, or other fluids to help us to know the amounts of drugs in the body. The below of this slide, you can look at how the process of this chromatography of HPLC works and looks like.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Mansura Najia binti Alias, and this is the advantages and disadvantages of gas chromatography. First of all, gas chromatography is a fast analysis process because it only takes a few hours to complete the analysis to compare with HPLC. The analysis speed is improved when the analysis procedure is managed by a chromatographic workplace. Next, gas chromatography have a high separation efficiency because it can separate simultaneously and identify an extremely complicated combination in a very short time. For instance, it can analyze 150 components in a sample at once. Next, gas chromatography has a wide application range where it can analyze gases, volatile solid or liquid, and more. In general, gas chromatography can make an analysis as long as the component's boiling point did not exceed 500 Celsius and the thermal stability is good under working condition. We move on to disadvantages of gas chromatography. Firstly, gas chromatography need volatility requirement. Extensive sample preparation like extraction and purification is needed for this analysis. This procedure could be time-consuming and added a potential sources of error. Next, gas chromatography have detector limitation, and of course every detector have its own advantages and disadvantages. So it is important for you to truly assess your choice depending on the analyte that interests you. And lastly, it lack of direct structural information. Direct structural information of analyte cannot be done alone by gas chromatography, so it needed a mass spectrometry to help the gas chromatography to get the structural data.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Suraya Binti Ahir. So here I will explain a bit about the method of drug testing, which is basic chromatography. So as we know, for the method of drug testing, we have two, which is immunoassay and also basic chromatography, which is by using the gas chromatography. But today I will be focusing on the gas chromatography. Basic chromatography method also considered as criterion standard for the confirmation test because it is more specific and also reliable compared to the other method. It can detect even a small amount of drug in the urine, and also it can detect a specific type of drug in the urine. Even though this method is really reliable and also accurate, it will take a few time to generate and also to detect any types of drug in the urine based on the type of drug and also the frequency of the drug has been taken based on the table that I have shown in the slide. So for the first step of basic chromatography method is the first one is sample collection. The sample of urine will be collected from a person and will be stored in a plastic container and be returned to the doctor. But if the sample cannot be returned to the doctor within 1 hour after the sample has been taken, it have to be stored in a refrigerator. The second step is sample injection. The sample of urine will be injected into the carrier gas such as nitrogen, hydrogen, oxygen and also helium. So basically, the better carrier gas is, the better results will be obtained. This step will introduce the sample loop and the analytical valve that is in line with the carrier system. The third step is sample separation. The sample will be separated into its constituent component and also by using the column in a specific temperature and also gas flow control. This step will be controlled tightly and also will be repeated to get an accurate result. The last step is sample detection. This step will be use a detector to generate the occurrence of any drug in the urine and also will show the characteristic of gas chromatography peak in the chromatogram.
Hi, my name is Nur Ardini Nadira binti Ibrahim. Without further ado, let me tell you some application that use chromatography in urine drug testing. Urine drug testing serve various purposes and widely used in different fields such as healthcare, workplace environments, and sports. In clinical settings, chromatography in urine drug tests are useful for doctors to diagnose substance usage, drug prescription, drug use, and investigate potential overdose. Furthermore, some companies, especially in sensitive industry, may require new employees to do urine drug tests to maintain a safe and drug-free workplace. For example, the transportation industry require regular drug testings for the new employees. Last but not least, gas chromatography is used in sport to analyze athlete samples and identify whether there are presence of drugs in their body. With all of these applications, I can say that the uses of chromatography in urine drug testings is versatile and useful for different situations. That's all from us. Thank you for spending your time on these presentations. I hope you can gain a lot of information about chromatography for drug testing in urine tests. Goodbye.